Hello, relatives. Welcome to the fifth in this series on the James Arthur Ray trial that is entitled Pointing the Blame Finger. So you will recall, James Ray is the sales trainer who became a spiritual and financial guru, and he's on trial for manslaughter because three people died in a sweat lodge ceremony that he conducted at a retreat center in Sedona, Arizona. For the last month, the jury has heard from participants who survived the deadly event, from doctors, medical examiners, Ray's employees, excerpts from Ray's speeches and writings, the fire chief who heated the stones that were used in the rocks. The defense has made the case that this was simply a tragic accident and that participants knew what they were getting into and signed waivers acknowledging the risks. The participants agreed that they indeed signed the waivers, they knew what the risks were, but they surely didn't think that the experience could kill them. The survivors told the jury that indeed Ray never prevented them physically from leaving that sweat lodge, but his words and his judgment had an enormous influence on them. It's clear that James Ray did not have the medical training, nor did he provide such staff to deal with potential complications, and it's also clear that he had never apprenticed or had authorizations of Native Americans to conduct their sacred sweat lodge ceremony. In this last week, Ray and his defense are making a new pitch, that these tragic deaths were the result of poisoning, that the wood that was used to heat the lava stones was processed and laden with chemicals, and that the sweat lodge coverings were stored in a shed that also contained poisons. This tragedy, James Ray says, and his attorneys repeat, is the retreat center's fault. The medical examiners said the victims died from heat stroke, but on cross-examination, Ray's attorneys asked them if the victims had died from some acute poisoning, could the autopsy findings be similar? And the experts said they weren't sure, but perhaps some of the findings could overlap. So this is how it is in contemporary American jurisprudence. If you get caught doing something wrong, you hire the best lawyers and you point the finger of blame at somebody else. We live in a litigious society, lawsuits everywhere, so that what's right and wrong is decided by lawyers in courtrooms. Morality has become defined as whatever it is you can get away with. If Ray's lawyers can sow the seeds of doubt in even one juror's mind as to how and why these victims died, they could find him not guilty as he is charged. Ray and his lawyers are skilled at neurolinguistic programming, NLP, which means they are artists at persuasion. They know exactly how to use language to change people's thinking and behavior. I'm hoping the jury can see that what James Ray did was morally and legally reprehensible. James Arthur Ray made promises and took risks that exceeded his capacity and his training, and it resulted in the deaths of 3 people. That's just wrong, and we ought to stand up as a community and say it's just unacceptable. That's what I'm thinking. Have a great week. I say this for all my relations. Mitakuye.